would say, come on son, let's go out and play. Sometimes it seems like yesterday. Then I'd climb up the closet shelf when I was all by myself. I'd grab his hat and fix the brim, pretending I was him. No matter how hard I try, no matter how many tears I cry, no matter how many years roll by, I still can't say goodbye. He always took care of Mom and me. We all cut down a Christmas tree. He always had some time for me. Wind blows through the trees and the street lights, they still shine bright. Most things seem the same, but I miss my dad tonight. I walked by a Salvation Army store, saw a hat like my daddy wore. I tried it on as I walked in, still trying to be like him. No matter how hard I try, no matter how many tears I cry, no matter how many years roll by, I still can't say goodbye. I still can't say goodbye.
Sitting on the dock
dock of the bay, just a waste of time. Take it, JD, yeah. Looks like nothing's gonna change. Everything still remains the same. I can't do what them people tell me to. So I guess I'll remain the same. Just sitting here resting my bones. And this loneliness won't leave me alone. But 2,000 miles I roam just to make this dock my home. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm just sitting on the dock of the bay, watching the tide roll away. Yeah. Sitting on the dock of the bay, just a waste of time with JD, yeah, baby, yeah. Gonna waste it. I like wasting time with you, Tommy. All right, let's waste a little more while we got some left. Play that thing, son. How's it sound now? Well, it'll be good when I tune your guitar. Not familiar with that concept.
Congratulations, finalists. Welcome. That was my most nervous moment because I counted the chairs 3 times this morning, not wanting to be one short. So we're off to a successful start. Welcome, my name's John Fix. I'm head of school and pleased to see so many familiar faces and some new faces. So we have some relatives in to watch you. We will get right to it very quickly. uh, the MacLane poetry recitation, for someone who doesn't know, it's the school's longest tradition. It's our proudest tradition, and it's a culmination for us of our public speaking and leadership program. While the students on the stage have been finalists, everybody's successful in this. And where's Karen Freeman? I'm going to pick on you a second because you're in charge of the Light Brigade. And I had a very memorable experience with that. It was a poem that my father and grandfather recited early on, so I had it in my head. And Karen recited it differently than I'd ever had it in my head, I'd ever heard it. And he punched some words and phrases that made me look at the poem in a whole different way. And I extrapolate from that to the experience these students have had, because many of them can recite each other's poems. Many in the audience can recite each other's poems. They rehearse each other, they listen. And I know some of you parents can recite your children's poems as well. It's a great tradition that way. And we're indebted to David MacLane, who started this in the school's first year in memory of his sister who loved poetry, Lois MacLane. So wonderful to be gathered here. I thank the judges. And as is our tradition, we've asked some of the fourth graders to introduce the judges. And next year, the fourth grade gets to qualify to be on stage. So this is part of their public speaking. So I'd ask the fourth graders who are introducing our judges to come forward and take turns with the microphone and use your loud and proud voices. Can you manage the microphone and read at the same time? Yes. Or recite? Start with Lucy. And I'm asking the judges to raise their hands so we know who they are as each one recites.
Phil Cocciola began at Oxford Academy in 1998 and since then has held many roles including social studies teacher, dormitory supervisor, department chair, and dean of students. Mr. Cocciola was appointed 6th head of school at Oxford Academy in June 2010. He resides with his wife Tracy and twin sons Drew and Dylan at the headmaster's house on the school's campus. His interests and activities center on community service, reading, and sports. We welcome back MacLane Judge Mr. Cocciola.
Aleba Cooper is an experienced independent school leader and teacher. She is Foote School's 10th head of school and the first person of color to serve in the role. Her role as an educator is based on partnership, commitment, and understanding. She's attentive to differentiation and developmental approaches across grades K to 9, and she appreciates the power of the connection between teacher and student, home and school. Given her appreciation for connections, we are confident Miss Cooper will experience how her finalists connect not only with their poem, but also with their audience.
Steve Dannenberg, former head of the country school from 1998 to 2004, is a lifelong educator. He served as director of admissions and history teacher at Pomfret School, headmaster at the Williams School, assistant headmaster at Dean of Students at the Cambridge School. Early in his career, he was a Peace Corps volunteer in Ciudad Bolivar, Venezuela. As a high school teacher and coach, Mr. Dannenberg lives in Old Lyme with his wife, Barry. We are very fortunate to have his continued support at the country school and participation in the MacLane poetry recitations.
Mark Fader is the Williams' 10th head of school. He has over 25 years of experience as an educator and coach. Prior to joining the Williams community, Mr. Fader was the Dean of Students at Providence Day School in Charlotte, North Carolina, as well as a teacher of history and head varsity lacrosse coach. Mr. Fader has welcomed and been an advisor to many of our graduates who go to Williams. No stranger to the country school's longest-standing tradition, we welcome Mr. Fader to once again serve as a finals judge.
Tom Main has an accomplished history as an educator and leader. He began his career at King's School in Stanford, followed by 6 years teaching at Rye Country Day School. After serving as upper school head at Cincinnati Country Day School, he returned to King as head of school. Since 2018, Mr. Main has served as the head of school at Ridgefield Academy. Mr. Main also serves as a country school trustee. We welcome Mr. Main back to our community, one that is steeped in tradition and pride.
Thank you. Thank you for that. Enjoy your seats. Enjoy the poetry. Finalists, you know the routine, so pay attention to the judges, and when they've passed their sheets, the next one of you can go. If you're not sure, please turn to Ms. Kelly, Mr. Burge, Mr. McDonough, and Mrs. Liu, your teachers, and they'll give you the nod if you're not sure. Okay, and take deep breaths and enjoy the experience. Thank you, everybody.
Good morning. My name is Oakley Milligan, and the poem I will be reciting for you today is My Shadow by Robert Louis Stevenson. I have a little shadow that goes in and out with me, and what can be the use of him is more than I can see. He is very, very like me, from the heels up to the head, and I can see him jump before me when I jump into my bed. The funniest thing about him is the way he likes to grow. Not at all like proper children, which is always very slow. For he sometimes shoots up taller, like an India rubber ball, and sometimes gets so little that there's none of him at all. He hasn't got a notion of how children ought to play, and can only make a fool of me in every sort of way. He stays so close beside me, he's a coward you can see. I'd think shame to stick to Nursey as that shadow sticks to me. One morning, very early, before the sun was up, I rose and found the shining dew on every buttercup. But my lazy little shadow, like an errant sleepyhead, had stayed at home behind me and was fast asleep in bed. Thank you.
Seemed just a little high. I also forgot, if you can put your cell phones on quiet or silence or vibrate. That's good.
Good morning. My name is Mia Sankey, and the poem I will be reciting for you today is Our Words Matter by Megan Minitillo. When we're little, we're taught the golden rule, to treat others the way we want to be treated, to choose our words with kindness, or not to say anything at all. We're taught this not to stifle or manipulate or try to mimic some other person's thought. We're taught this because our words matter. Our words matter. It matters what passes our lips when we speak to another soul, the phrases we choose, the way we say it, the utterances that flee our lips in times of stress and excitement and joy and despair and anger all matter. It matters when you spew fiction over fact, hate over love, and fear over hope. When you do this, you light the flame of destruction on parched ground. When you do this, you invoke paranoia and disillusion and chaos and violence. When you do this, you do not cause a mere divide. You seek to deepen a chasm of destruction and hate. Our words matter. So when you see democracy attacked, what words will you choose? When you see hatred scaling the walls, ripping down flags, and seeking to cause chaos and despair, what will you say? Our words matter. They have always mattered, and even as the dust settles and the fire ceases to burn and the hearts remain broken, the words you choose to speak matter. What words will you choose? Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Oliver Milligan, and the poem that I will be reciting for you today is Small Kindnesses by Danusha Lemery. I've been thinking about the way when you walk down a crowded aisle, people pulling their legs, or how strangers still say bless you when someone sneezes, a leftover from the bubonic plague. Don't die, we are saying. And sometimes, when you spill lemons from your grocery bag, someone else will help you pick them up. Mostly, we don't want to harm each other. We want to be handed our cup of coffee hot and to say thank you to the person handing it, to smile at them and for them to smile back, for the waitress to call us honey when she sets down the bowl of clam chowder, and for the driver and the red pickup truck to let us pass. We have so little of each other now, so far from tribe and fire, only these brief moments of exchange. What if they're the true dwelling of the holy, these fleeting temples we make together when we say, here, have my seat. Go ahead. You first. I like your hat. Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Alex Duquez, and the poem I'll be reciting for you today is Dirge Without Music by Edna St. Vincent Millay. I am not resigned to the shutting away of loving hearts in the hard ground. So it is, and so it will be, for so it has been, time out of mind. Into the darkness they go, the wise and the lovely, crowned with lilies and with laurel they go, but I am not resigned. Lovers and thinkers, into the earth with you, be one with the dull, the indiscriminate dust. A fragment of what you felt, of what you knew, a formula, a phrase remains, but the best is lost. The answers quick and keen, the honest look, the laughter, the love, they are gone. They are gone to feed the roses. Elegant and curled is the blossom. Fragrant is the blossom. I know, but I do not approve. More precious was the light in your eyes than all the roses in the world. Down, 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 into the darkness of the grave. Gently they go, the beautiful, the tender, the kind. Quietly they go, the intelligent, the witty, the brave. I know, but I do not approve, and I am not resigned. Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Layla Goodman, and the poem I will be reciting for you today is The House with Nobody in It by Joyce Kilmer. Whenever I walk to Suffern along the eerie track, I go by a poor old farmhouse with the shingles broken and black. I suppose I've passed it 100 times, but I always stop for a minute to look at the house, the tragic house, the house with nobody in it. I never have seen a haunted house, though I hear there are such things, that they hold the talk of spirits, their mirth and sorrowings. I know this house isn't haunted, and I wish it were I do, for it wouldn't be so lonely if it had a ghost or two. This house on the road to Suffern needs a dozen panes of glass, and somebody ought to weed the walk and take a scythe to the grass. It needs new paint and shingles, and the vine should be trimmed and tied. But what it needs, most of all, is some people living inside. If I had a lot of money and all my debts were paid, I'd put a gang of men to work with brush and saw and spade. I'd buy that place and I'd fix it up the way it used to be, and I'd find some people who wanted a home, and I'd give it to them for free. Now a new house, standing empty, with staring window and door, looks idle, perhaps, foolish, like a hat on its block in the store. But there's nothing mournful about it. It cannot be sad and lone, for the lack of something within it that it has never known. But a house that has done what a house should do, a house that has sheltered life, that has put its loving wooden arms around a man and his wife, a house that has echoed a baby's laugh and held up its stumbling feet, is the saddest sight, when it's left alone, that ever your eyes could meet. So whenever I walk to Suffern, along the eerie track, I never go by the poor old house without stopping and looking back. Yet it hurts me to look at the crumbling roof and the shutters falling apart, for I can't help thinking the poor old house is a house with a broken heart. Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Luca Coletti, and the poem that I will be reciting for you today is Touchscreen by Marshall Davis Jones. Introducing the new Apple iPerson, complete with multi-touch and volume control. Doesn't it feel good to touch? Doesn't it feel good to touch? My world is so digital that I had nearly forgotten what that feels like. It used to be hard to connect when friends formed cliques, but it's even more difficult to connect now that cliques form friends. But who am I to judge? I face Facebook more than books face me, hoping to book face-to-faces. I update my status 420 spaces to prove that I am still breathing. Failure to do this daily means my whole web-wide world forgets that I exist. And with nearly 3,000 friends online and only 5 that I could count in real life, why wouldn't I spend more time in a world where there are more people that like me? Wouldn't you? Here, it doesn't matter if I'm an amateur person, as long as I have a profile. My smile is 50% genuine and 50% genuine HD. But I'm not that focused. 10 tabs open, hoping my problems can be resolved with a 1600 by 1700 resolution. This is the problem with this evolution. Doubled over, we used to sit in treetops till we swung down and stood upright. Then somebody slipped a disc, and now we're doubled over at desktops from the Garden of Eden to the branches of Macintosh. Apple picking has always come at a great cost. iPod, iMac, iPhone, iChat. I can do all of these things without making eye contact. We used to sprint to pick and store blackberries. Now we run to Sprint store to pick blackberries. It's scary, the way we connect to disconnect. Power on, but we are powerless. They've got us love drugged, like e-pills, so we e-trade, email, e-motion, like e-commerce, because now you can buy love for $9.95 a month. Click to proceed the checkout. Click to X out where our hearts once were. Click. I've uploaded this hug. I hope she gets it. Click. I'm holding my daughter over a Skype conference call while she's crying in the crib in the next room. Click. So when my phone goes off in my hip, I touch and I touch and I touch. Because in a world where there are voices that are only read and laughter that is never heard, or I am so desperate to feel that I wish the screen could touch me back. And maybe it will. When our technology is advanced enough to reverse the universe and make us human again. Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Caroline Matkin, and the poem that I will be reciting for you today is If Feeling Isn't In It by John Bram. Dogs will lick your face if you let them. Their bodies will shiver with happiness. A simple walk in the park is just about the height of contentment for them, followed by a bowl of food, a bowl of water, a place to curl up and sleep. Someone to scratch them where they can't reach, smooth their foreheads, and talk to them. Dogs also have a natural dislike of mailmen and other bringers of bad news, and will bite them on your behalf. Dogs can smell fear and also love with perfect accuracy. There's no use in pretending with them, nor do they pretend. If a dog is happy, or sad, or nervous, or bored, or ashamed, or sunk in contemplation, everybody knows it. They make no secret of themselves. You can even tell what dogs are dreaming by the way their legs jerk and try to run on the slippery ground of sleep. Nor are they given to pretentious self-importance. They don't try to impress you with how serious or sensitive they are. They just feel everything full blast. Everything is off the charts with them. More than once, I've seen a dog waiting for its owner outside a cafe practically implode with worry. Oh God, what if she doesn't come back this time? What will I do? Who will take care of me? I loved her so much, and now she's gone. And I'm tied to a post surrounded by people who don't look or smell or sound like her at all. And when she does come, what a flurry of commotion, what a chorus of yelping and cooing and leaps straight into the air. It is almost unbearable, this sudden fullness after such total loss. To see the world made whole again by a hand on the shoulder and a voice like no other. Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Eloise Lafferty, and the poem I'll be reciting for you today is I Cannot Forget by Alexander Kimmel. Do I want to remember the peaceful ghetto before the raid? Children shaking like leaves in the wind, mothers searching for a piece of bread, shadows on swollen legs moving with fear. No, I don't want to remember, but how can I forget? Do I want to remember this creation of hell? The shouts of the raiders enjoying the hunt, cries of wounded begging for life, faces of mothers carved with pain, hiding children dripping with fear. No, I don't want to remember, but how can I forget? Do I want to remember my fear for return? Families vanished in the midst of the day, the mass grave steaming with vapor of blood. Mothers searching for children in vain. The pain of the ghetto cuts like a knife. No, I don't want to remember, but how can I forget? Do I want to remember this creation of... Do I want to remember the wailing of the night, the doors kicked ajar, ripped feathers floating the air, the night scented with snow-melting blood, while the compassionate moon is showing the way for the faceless shadows searching for kin? No, I don't want to remember, but I cannot forget. Do I want to remember this world upside down, where the departed are blessed with an instant death, while the living condemned to a short, wretched life, and a long, torturous journey into an unnamed place, converting living souls into ashes and gas? No, I have to remember and never let you forget. Thank you.
Just going to wait for a moment. We had the secondary school fair last night. Taylor Rentals come to get our tablecloths right now, so they're dragging them out of the girls' locker room. So thank you for that. Take a deep breath. Water. Mr. Shar, could you just close the outside doors? Security, please. Thanks for that applause. We're going to give 10 seconds to quiet. Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Liam Ballow, and the poem I'll be reciting for you today is Camouflaging the Chimera by Yusef Kolmanyaka. We tied branches to our helmets. We painted our faces in rifles with mud from a riverbank. Blades of grass hung from the pockets of our tiger suits. We wove ourselves into the terrain, content to be a hummingbird's target. We hugged bamboo and leaned against a breeze off the river, slow dragging with ghosts from Saigon to Bangkok, with women left in doorways, reaching in from America. We aimed at the dark-hearted songbirds. In our way station of shadows, rock apes tried to blow our cover, throwing stones at the sunset. Chameleons crawled our spines, changing from day to night, green to gold, gold to black. But we waited till the moon touched metal, till something almost broke inside of us. VC struggled with the hillside, like black silk wrestling iron through grass. We weren't there. The river ran through our bones. Small animals took refuge against our bodies. We held our breath, ready to spring the L-shaped ambush as the world revolved under each man's eyelid. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Cole Nelson, and the poem that I will be reciting for you today is The Bridge by C. Dale Young. I love. Wouldn't we all like to start a poem with I love? I would. I mean, I love the fact that there are parallel lines in the word parallel. Love how words sometimes mirror what they mean. I love mirrors in that stupid tale about Narcissus, and I suppose there is some narcissism in that. You know, narcissism. What you remind me to avoid almost all the time, yeah, I love narcissism. I do. But what I really love is ice cream. Remember how I told you no amount of ice cream could survive a week in my freezer? You didn't believe me, did you? No, you didn't. But you know now how true that is. I love how you know that my Achilles heel is none other than ice cream. So chilly, so common. And I love fountain pens. I mean, I just love them. Cleaning them, filling them with ink fills me with a kind of joy, even if joy is so 1950. I know, no one talks about joy anymore, is even more taboo than love. And so, of course, I love joy. I love the way joy sounds as it exits your mouth. You know, the word joy. How joyous is that? It makes me think of bubbles, chandeliers, dandelions. I love the way the mind runs that pathway from bubbles to dandelions. Yes, I love a lot. And right here, walking down this street, I love the way we make a bridge. A suspension bridge almost as beautiful as the Golden Gate Bridge, swaying as we walk hand in hand. Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Oliver Scott, and the poem I will be reciting for you is Lady Liberty by Tato Laviera. For liberty, your day filled in splendor, July 4th, New York Harbor, 1986. Midnight sky, fireworks splashing, heaven exploding into radiant bouquets, celebrating the name of democratic principles, God bless America, land of the Star-Spangled Banner that we love. But the symbol suffered 100 years of decay, climbing up to the spined crown, the fractured torch hand, discolored verses staining her robe. She needed remolding, redesigning, the decomposed body now melted down for souvenirs, lungs and limbs jailed in scaffolding of ugly cubicles. As she prepared to receive her 20th century transplant, she heard the speeches, the presidents, the French and American partners, but Lady Liberty decided to reflect on Lincoln's emancipatory resoluteness, on Washington's patriotism, on Susan B. Anthony's suffrage movement, on Martin Luther King's nonviolence, and on Harriet Tubman's stubborn pursuit of freedom. Just before she was touched, just before she was dismantled, Lady Liberty spoke. She spoke for the principles, for the preamble, for the Bill of Rights and 39 peaceful presidential transitions. And just before she was touched, Lady Liberty wanted to convey her own bicentennial goals so that in 2086, she would be smiling and she would be proud. And then, just before she was touched, she spoke. If you touch me, touch all of my people who need attention and societal repair. Give the tired and the poor the same attention, America. Touch us all with liberty. Touch us all with liberty. Hunger abounds, yet our soil is plentiful. Our technology advanced enough to feed humanity's hunger. But let's celebrate not our wealth. Let us concentrate on our weaknesses, on our societal needs. For we will never be free if indeed freedom is subjugated to trampling upon people's needs. This is a warning, my beloved America. So touch me, and in touching me, touch all our people. Do not single me out. Touch all our people. Touch all our people. All our people, people. And then I shall truly enjoy my day, filled in splendor. July 4th, New York Harbor, 1986. Midnight sky, fireworks splashing, heaven exploding into radiant bouquets, celebrate in the name of equality, in the pursuit of happiness. God bless America, land of the Star-Spangled Banner that we love. Thank you.
Hello and good morning, everybody. My name is Devery Aronson, and the poem I'll be reciting for you today is Dear Sisters by Asia Mayrock. Dear Sisters, my whole life I have struggled with trusting other women, from bullying to body shaming other women. I've heard girls say things like, she'd be so much prettier without that nose. She's not that talented. She'll never make it. Think of the ratio. These are your sisters. We do not exist in silos. I propose we outgrow our opposition to one another.
our experiences of each other. If we are fighting for equality, there has to be camaraderie. This is a letter to every woman who knows better than to scarlet letter, to whisper and backstab a sister. There is no progress when we march in different directions. Correction. There is no progress when we march in discriminatory sections. White women, show up for your sisters of color. Straight women, show up for your LGBTQ plus sisters. Women, show up. Have the guts to overlook our differences, because really the difference is as drastic as progress or no progress. We cannot afford to divide each other. Since early days, we've been taught to compare and compete with one another. You are not devalued, even if the woman next to you appears to be perfect. You are not devalued if your sisters are achieving greatness. You are always of value if you value you. Dear sisters, take a look in the mirror and see yourself a little clearer. What kind of women do you show up for? Show up for the sisters you might not know or understand. Show up for the sisters you might not like at all. Show up for all of us. Because unity begins with you and who you choose to show up for. Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Abby Calarco, and the poem I'll be reciting for you today is Between the Dragon and the Phoenix by C. Dale Young. Fire in the heart, fire in the sky, the sun, just a smallish smudge resting on the horizon. I was a little more than a child when my father explained that the mongrel was stronger than the thoroughbred, that I was splendidly blended, genetically engineered for survival. I somehow forgot this, misplaced this. Time eroding my memory as it erodes everything. But go ask someone else to write a poem about time. Out over the bay, the sun is rising, and I am running out of time. Each and every year on my birthday, I wake to watch the sunrise. I am superstitious. And today, as in years past, it is not my father, but my father's father who comes to shout at me. Whether you like it or not, you are a child of fire, descendant of the dragon, descendant of the phoenix. Your blood is older than England, older than Castile. Each year, he says the same thing. This old man, dead long before I was born. So, I wake each year on the day of my birth to watch the fire enter the sky while being chastised by my dead grandfather. Fire in my heart, fire in my veins. I write this down for you, and I watch as it goes up in flames. There are no paragraphs wide enough to contain this fire. No stanzas durable enough to house it. Blood of the dragon, blood of the phoenix. I turn my head slowly towards the east. I bow and call for another year. I stand there and demand one more year. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Spencer Mackenzie, and today I will be reciting Home by Warson Shire. No one leaves home unless home is the mouth of a shark. You only run for the border when you see the whole city running as well. Your neighbors running faster than you, breath bloody in their throats. The boy you went to school with is holding a gun bigger than his body. You only leave home when home won't let you stay. No one leaves home unless home chases you. Fire under feet, hot blood in your belly, it's not something you ever thought of doing. Tearing up your passport in an airport toilet, sobbing as each mouthful of paper made it clear that you wouldn't be going back. You have to understand that no one puts their children in a boat unless the water is safer than the land. No one spends days and nights in the stomach of a truck feeding on newspaper unless the miles traveled means something more than the journey. No one chooses refugee camps or prison because prison is safer than a city of fire. And one prison guard in the night is better than a truckload of men who look like your father. No one could take it. No one could stomach it. No one skin would be tough enough. The go-home blacks, refugees, dirty immigrants, asylum seekers, sucking our country dry. With their hands out, they smell strange, savage. Messed up their country, and now they want to mess up ours? How did the words and the dirty looks roll off your backs? Maybe because the blow is softer than a limb torn off, or because the words and the insults are easier to swallow than rubble, than bone, than your child body in pieces. I want to go home, but home is the mouth of a shark. Home is the barrel of a gun, and no one would leave home unless home chased you to the shore, told you to quicken your legs, leave your clothes behind, crawl through the desert, wade through the oceans, beg, forget pride. Your survival is more important. No one leaves home until home is a sweaty voice in your ear saying, leave, run away from me now. I don't know what I've become, but I know that anywhere is safer than here. Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Emmy Liu, and the poem I will be reciting for you today is Romanticism 101 by Dean Young. Then I realized I hadn't secured the boat. Then I realized my friend had lied to me. Then I realized my dog was gone, no matter how much I called in the rain. All was change. Then I realized I was surrounded by aliens disguised as orthodontists having a convention at the hotel breakfast bar. Then I could see into the life of things, that systems seek only to reproduce the conditions of their own reproduction. If I had to pick between shadows and essences, I'd pick shadows. They're better dancers. They always sing their telegrams. Their old gods do not die. Then I realized the very futility was salvation in this greeny entanglement of breaths. Yeah, as if. Then I realized even when you catch the mechanism, the trick still works. Then I came to in Texas and realized rockabilly would never go away. Then I realized I'd been drugged. We were all chasing nothing, which left no choice but to intensify the chase. I came to handcuffed and gagged. I came to intubated and packed in some kind of foam. This too is how ash moves through water, and all this time the side door's unlocked. Then I realized repetition could be an ending. Then I realized repetition could be an ending. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Maddox Talmadge, and the poem I will be reciting for you today is Invisible Children by Mariana Llanos. Invisible children fall through the cracks of the system like Alice in the rabbit hole. But these children won't find an eat me cake or a drink me bottle. They won't wake up on the lap of a loving sister. They'll open their eyes on the hand of a monster called negligence, who will poke them with its sharp teeth and bait them with its heartless laughter, like a wild thing in a wild rumpus. But the children won't awake to the smell of a warm supper, nor will they find a purple crayon to draw an escape door or a window. Instead, they'll make a mirror of a murky puddle on a city street, which won't tell them they're beautiful, but it will show their scars, as invisible to others as these children are. Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Keva Frushtar, and the poem I'll be reciting for you today is The Heron by Linda Hogan. I am always watching the single heron at its place, alone at water, its open eye, one leg lifted or waiting without seeming to move. It is a mystery seen but never touched, until this morning, when I lift it from its side where it lays breathing. I know the beak that could attack, that unwavering golden eye, seeing me, my own saying I'm harmless. But if I had that eye, nothing would be safe. The claws hold tight my hand, its dun brown feathers, and the gray so perfectly laid down. The bird is more beautiful than my hand, skin more graceful than my foot. My own dark eye, so much more vulnerable. The heart beating quickly, its own language speaking. You could kill me or help me. I know you and I have no choice but to give myself up. And in whatever supremacy of this moment, hold your human hand in my bent claws. Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Henry Lawrence, and the poem I'll be reciting for you today is Ulysses by Alfred Lord Tennyson. It little profits that an idle king, by this still hearth, among these barren crags, matched with an aged wife, I mete and dole unequal laws unto a savage race that hoard and sleep and feed and know not me. I cannot rest from travel. I will drink life to the lees. Much have I seen and known, cities of men and manners, climates, councils, governments, myself not least, but honored of them all, and drunk delight of battle with my peers, far on the ringing plains of windy Troy. How dull it is to pause, to make an end, to rust unburnished, not to shine in use as though to breathe were life, and this gray spirit yearning in desire to follow knowledge like a sinking star beyond the utmost bound of human thought. There lies the port, the vessel puffs her sail, there gloom the dark, broad seas. My mariners, you and I are old. Old age hath yet his honor and his toil. Death closes all. But something ere the end, some work of noble note may yet be done, not unbecoming men that strove with gods. The lights begin to twinkle from the rocks. The long day wanes. The slow moon climbs. The deep moans round with many voices. Come, my friends, 'tis not too late to seek a newer world, for my purpose holds to sail beyond the sunset and the baths of all the western stars until I die. It may be that the gulfs will wash us down. It may be that we'll touch the happy isles and see the great Achilles whom we knew. Though much is taken, much abides, and though we are not now that strength which in old days moved earth and heaven, that which we are one equal temper of heroic hearts, made weak by time and fate, but strong in will, to strive, to seek, to find, and not to yield. Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Maisie Byrne, and the poem I'll be reciting for you today is Still I Rise by Maya Angelou. You may write me down in history with your bitter, twisted lies. You may trod me in the very dirt, but still, like dust, I'll rise. Does my sassiness upset you? Why are you beset with gloom? 'Cause I walk like I've got oil wells pumping in my living room. Just like moons and suns with certainty of tides, just like hope springing high, still I'll rise. Did you want to see me broken? Bowed head and lowered eyes, shoulders falling down like teardrops weakened by my soulful cries. Does my haughtiness offend you? Don't you take it awful hard, 'cause I laugh like I've got gold mines digging in my own backyard. You may shoot me with your words, you may cut me with your eyes, you may kill me with your hatefulness, but still Like air, I'll rise. Out of the huts of history's shame, I rise. I'm like a black ocean that's leaping and wide, welling and swelling, I bear in the tide, leaving behind nights of terror and fear. I rise into a daybreak that's wondrously clear. I rise, bringing the gifts that my ancestors gave. I'm the dream and the hope of the slave. I rise, I rise, I rise. Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Simone Nelson, and the poem I'll be reciting for you today is It Was Early by Mary Oliver. It was early, which has always been my hour to begin looking at the world, and of course, even in the darkness, to begin listening into it, especially under the pines where the owl lives, and sometimes calls out as I walk by, as he did on this morning. So many gifts. What do they mean? In the marshes, where the pink light was just arriving, the mink with his bristled tail was stalking the soft-eared mice, and in the pines the cones were heavy, each one ordained to open. Sometimes I need only to stand wherever I am to be blessed. Little mink, let me watch you. Little mice, run and run. Dear pine cone, let me hold you as you open. I wonder how you woke this morning. Did you have doubts of your kind? Perhaps there are certain politicians whose rhetoric exasperates you, or the latest tally from terrorist bombings correlates with how many fewer times you'll express today. Maybe you were thinking of the tender children who cannot run away from abusing adults, who cannot run away from their circumstances either. What if, as we think of how we are hunted and haunted each in our own way, we choose this day to be blessed? We watch the harm, we watch the fear, and we watch the chase, which is a dance, isn't it? Then, in response, we choose to bless the world and hold all lives, mean and small, knowing that the human heart may yet open. Maybe today. Who do you hold today in hopes it will open? Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Tilly Killam, and the poem I'll be reciting for you today is Girl by Olivia Gatwood. I don't think I'll ever not be one, even when the dozen grays sprouting from my temple take hold and spread like a sterling fungus across my scalp. Even when the skin on my hands is loose as a duvet draped across my knuckles. Even when I know everything there is to know about heartbreak or envy or the mortality of my parents, I think even then I'll want to be called girl. No matter the mouth it comes from or how they mean it, girl. The curling smoke after a sparkler spatters into dark, girl. Sweet spoon of crystal sugar at the bottom of my coffee, girl. Whole mouth of whipped cream at the birthday party, say, girl, I think I'll never die. I'll never stop running through sprinklers or climbing out of open windows. I'll never pass up a jar of free dum-dums. I'll never stop ripping out the hangnail with my teeth. I'm a good girl. Bad girl. Dream girl. Sad girl. Girl next door sunbathing in the driveway. I want to be them all once. I want to be all the girls I've ever loved. Mean girls. Shy girls. Loud girls. My girls. All of us angry on our porches, rolled tobacco resting on our bottom lips. Our bodies are the only things we own. Leave our kids with nothing when we die. We'll still be girls then too. We'll still be pretty, still be loved, still be soft to the touch. Pink lip and powdered nose in the casket. A dozen sobbing men in stiff suits. Yes, even then we are girls. Especially then we are girls. Silent and dead and still the life of the party. Thank you.
Could I ask the third grade reading buddies to stand up, and I'll ask the finalists to stand up and lead us in applauding all the finalists, please. Thank you. Please be seated. Now, one of the most enjoyable parts of this ceremony is hearing how the students chose their poems. But you've been saying a long time. Could you stand again? Can you rise? Tilly, would you lead everybody down? And then the teachers will start with you, since you had to wait so long, and Simone and Maisie. So come on down, and again, we applaud you as you come down.
First of all, I want to say that all of your words matter to us. Thank you. Okay, favorite question. How did you arrive at choosing your poem?
So I was looking for poems about like feminism, and then I came across this one, and it really spoke to me because it had a very big and powerful message, and it was a very complex poem and had a lot of meaning behind it.
I found mine in an anthology of Mary Oliver poems, and I didn't think much of it at first, but I wrote it down, and then I read it a couple times later, and I really liked it, and I was pretty desperate for a poem by that point.
I had wanted a poem that talked about like power and confidence, and a lot of Maya Angelou's poems were about that, and the poem I recited spoke to me the most.
I looked for a poem that was about the Odyssey because that's kind of like my thing, and and this one just came across and I really loved it. The poem I recited this year is from the same poet as the one I recited last year, and I really enjoyed that poem. And also, I really love nature and animals, so yeah.
So at first I wanted like a poem about an apocalypse, and and I went and I was looking for them and I couldn't find one that was what I actually liked. So, and then I came across a poem that was bringing awareness to like neglected children around the world, and I was like, that's like pretty much an apocalypse, because if we keep like neglecting, then it's gonna be like pretty bad. So I figured that was gonna be a good poem.
I was just looking through a ton of poems online that my mom had saved up over the years, and I read this one, and I really liked the last two lines of then I realized repetition could be an ending, then I realized repetition could be an ending. I don't really know why, probably just because I thought it was funny that it was repetition and it was the ending.
I wanted to choose a poem about refugees and something that related to our world today. And yeah, that's it.
I chose my poem because I really like creatures of fire like dragons and phoenixes. And it only took me like 5 minutes to find it because I just looked up dragons. And the first thing was that poem, and I finished in 5 minutes, and it was fun.
So I wanted to pick a poem that I could relate to, and I feel like every woman here has experienced bullying from other women when we should really be empowering each other, and I just thought it was a good message to spread.
I chose my poem because I wanted to kind of choose a poem that spoke to real world issues that are facing us today, and the freedoms of people is one of those issues.
So I just wanted to pick a poem that I thought would best help me connect with the audience, and I thought that this was a really good poem because it's simple, but you can put your own meaning to it depending on like who you are, so people from all walks of life can enjoy this poem.
I chose my poem to honor everybody that served for our country to allow us to have freedom.
It took me a really long time to find a poem, but I was always super interested in like the Holocaust topic, and when I read it, I was already I loved it, so that's why I chose it.
It took me maybe like a day or two to find my poem, but when I did, I really knew I wanted to do it because it reminded me of so much of my two dogs that I love so much.
I searched for my poem for a while, and I really wanted to find something that meant something to me and really represented our society and problems that people are facing every day.
Last year, Miss Kelly had us watch a bunch of Poetry Out Loud videos, and one of the girls recited this poem, and I absolutely loved the way it sounded and how she said it, so I did it this year.
It takes me a little while to find my poem, but once I came across this one, I kept finding myself circling back, and then I just thought I could deliver it really well.
I chose my poem because this was featured at RJ Julia for a little while, and I really liked it because it was super easy to relate to. So yeah.
So to me, the importance of our words and the power of our words have always mattered to me. And so finding a poem that could really relate to it was helpful. And also at the country school, when our main rule is kindness, you can't be kind without choosing your words.
I chose my poem because it was just like fun and happy, and I also connected to it because my dog is kind of like my little shadow.
Let's give it up for these finalists.
Thank you. The best and worst part of the whole recitation is having to pick 1, 2, 3, but thankfully we have the judge do it. But the important part, again, is everyone's a winner, and we have by making the finalist stage. And Mr. Burge will help Ms. Richard with the medal, so come forward, please. of them like a picture of everybody. You want them? Step forward on the green line.
I know. He knows.
The one job we don't have as the judges because it's so very difficult. Would everyone please join me in thanking the judges? Now we'll call forward from third place to first place. Third place, I'd like to call forward here Mia Sankey. And in second place, I'd like to call forward Luca Coletti. And in first place, I call forward Maisie Byrne.
My camera just died. Battery's good. So, I'm get close to you, Fred. Smile like you're so excited.
Get everybody for that. Congratulations. Thank you again, judges, and there is time to mingle. If you want to thank the judges, feel free. Parents, take your pictures, but thank you and congratulations for 66. Cindy, thank you.